Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Super excited to be here with you all. Ingrid, Sailesh, Alan, Simon, Marco, and whoever else joins us. We're talking about the Chrysalis calendar, and in a bit, we're going to look at a new view of calendaring, courtesy of Sailesh. And prior to that, I kind of wanted to set up a little context, so I'll ramble on for 3 or 4 minutes here, and then I'll pass the talking feather. I believe that, and by the way, I want to thank you, Sailesh, and acknowledge you for enlightening me on the chrysalis as a thing, as a perfect metaphor for this moment that we're in. You brought that to my attention probably a year ago, if not more, that, hey, we're in this chrysalis phase now. And now in the years since then, we have all collectively been trying a bunch of things to see how do we bring humanity together so that we can become a united chrysalis, right? Because within the chrysalis, within the pupa, you've got all these imaginal cells, and each of us are imaginal cells, and there's probably got to be millions more of us out there, but we're so disconnected. So how do we get together, right? And our coming together has been beautiful in many ways, but in other ways it's been a train wreck. And I think that, oh, James is just coming in, awesome. But in other ways it's been a train wreck because of separation and hoarding, right? Because as enlightened as we are being, let me just say good morning to James. James, good morning.
All right, Jim, and sorry a bit late there, man. Busy day. Carry on. I don't want to disturb. Carry on.
No. You're actually here at the right and perfect time. And you know what, James? With you here, now it's perfect.
Yes, hello.
Hey, Sister Ivy. Thanks, Jim. Carry on, man. Carry on.
All righty. And I was just commenting that, we were talking about the chrysalis, that we're all in the chrysalis right now. All these imaginal cells are waking up, but we're still disconnected from each other, even after over 14 months of COVID and many valiant efforts to bring us all together. And as I was beginning to comment, I believe these efforts to bring us together have been stymied by the very nature of the game we were born into, which I refer to poetically as the all-day Monopoly game, an expression I learned from Daniel Schmachtenberger, the all-day Monopoly game of individual hoarding for individual survival, first of all, and then followed by individual aggrandizement, ego, etc. It's all one big hyper object of a game, and an omnicidal game at that. And I believe it has spilled over into our efforts to connect, to come together, right? Because many of us have basically, it's interesting. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to try to be funny about how I say this, but when asked the question, hey, how do we all come together? Paradoxically, all these imaginal cells have the same answer, or many of them do. My place, come to my place. Me, my place, right? I'm trying to be funny. But thanks, Simon. We're still in this game of, oh, okay, I've got to create this great platform, and then everyone come to my platform. And sure, there's been some degree of consolidation in that department of people coming to other people's platforms, but there's so many platforms and so much discord, disharmony, even outright war in some cases, in the worst cases, between platforms and between groups. And how do we overcome that? So what occurred to us, and thank you, Simon, also for being a huge part of this inspiration. Simon referencing the chrysalis, Sailesh. and said, hey, why don't we call it the Chrysalis? And so we played with it and came up with the idea of the Chrysalis calendar. But here's where I think the fullest expression that leads to actually an actual mechanistic way by which we can all actually come together. And that is that instead of saying, hey, everybody come to the Chrysalis calendar and post your stuff here, that's a form of, centralization in a way. What if we just went full decentralized? And rather than be yet another voice saying, hey, come over to my place, come over to my place, I have the coolest place or whatever. What if instead we simply put out a fully decentralized meme and idea of the Chrysalis? And instead of saying, hey, come to the Chrysalis calendar to post your stuff here, go to any Chrysalis calendar. There isn't just one, let there be thousands, but get your stuff up on a Chrysalis calendar, any Chrysalis calendar, and ideally more than one. And that way we can all see each other. And if there's a bunch of Chrysalis calendars that emerge to take this on, it is inevitable that they will connect with each other, and we will ultimately form a form of universal calendar, being the network of all these different Chrysalis calendars spanning many different languages, cultures, areas of focus, right? I could imagine Chrysalis calendars just for veganism, others just focused on SRM, others focused on, political transformation, others focused on economic transformation and the transformation of business, et cetera, et cetera. But the idea is to go fully decentralized, not to promote any one particular Chrysalis calendar, but to promote Chrysalis calendaring as a thing, right? And more broadly than just the calendars, promote anything, any and all platforms, services, events, communities that are Chrysalis related, that are basically say, hey, we get the Chrysalis thing, right? We're part of it. So we're basically self-tagging as Chrysalis. So if we all tag ourselves as Chrysalis, in one word, you have a whole story, a whole meme, a whole perspective of the end of one era, right? Whether you call it collapse, whether you call it breakdown, whether you call it transformation, the words matter not so much, but actually I think they do kind of matter a lot, actually, and I'll get to that in a second. But I don't want to hog the talking feather more than another minute or so. And therefore, I think we have in front of us not only the opportunity of developing our own Chrysalis calendar and putting the word out there, but also developing this conversation about the Chrysalis itself so that we can hone and perfect this meme of the Chrysalis. What does it mean to us? What does the Chrysalis mean, right? And if we imagine, the world embracing Chrysalis, what does that mean? What does that look like? Do we have 1,000 different definitions for what the Chrysalis is and how this, how we envision this all happening? Probably, but if we boil it down to its essence, what is it? How do we think about the Chrysalis? And how do we envision that becoming a thing? Anyway, I'm going to pass the talking feather. And then in 11 minutes, we're going to very intentionally pass the talking feather to Sailesh. Not that you can't talk before then, quite the contrary. We need you at all stages of the conversation, Sailesh. But in 11 minutes, Sailesh is going to present some specific stuff about calendar. Anyway, with that, I pass the feather. Thank you all for listening.
Can I make a suggestion? I can do it like in 10-15 minutes.
Yeah.
If I do it now, and then we can have questions afterwards. Otherwise, it's going to be, I'll have to leave as soon as I present.
Oh, no, that sounds perfect. So let me go ahead and I think I'm gonna have to reclaim host or something like that. Okay, and now Sailesh, I'll make you co-host.
So the basic idea I'm trying to promote, I'm trying to tell you, is that yes, Chrysalis, it's a new way of thinking. It's a transformation. So it symbolizes a transformation. And to me, that requires a new calendar. So new calendar meaning new way of thinking about things altogether. So let me open that up. So it's this is something that came about when I was talking to Kimaya, and so Kimaya and I kind of said, oh, ooh, let's do that, and let's do this, and we put it together. And oh, where am I? In the wrong place. Okay, a new calendar. So the
Sailesh, are you there? Is Sailesh frozen? Or am I frozen? Okay, Sailesh is frozen. Yeah. All right.
the idea is to start. Can you see the presentation?
Yeah, the thing is you've gotten very, very choppy, Sailesh, like you froze up. Maybe it was a bandwidth thing or something like that.
Yeah, my internet connection has been flaky, and I do not know why.
So I have a proposal. If you want, I can screen share, and then you do the voice and you say next, next, next.
Okay, no problem. I can do that.
Would that help? Probably.
Yeah.
Okay. I just need to pull it up here on a different computer. So just take me a second. Bear with me for 30 seconds and we'll be up and running.
Maybe I'll turn off my video as well.
There you go. That's a good idea. Oh my goodness, Jamin's here. Jamin, with you here, now it's perfect. Just kidding. Okay, all right.
That's a good one.
I have a cousin named Jamin. He looks just like me. All right, so let me.
I'll point out too that using the virtual backgrounds uses a lot of bandwidth too.
Interesting. Good to know. Okay, so Sailesh, you just say next when you want me to advance.
Okay, no problem.
And your show, Sailesh.
Yeah, so the idea is to create a new way of thinking about days and how we name the days and how we think of months and so on. So it becomes a complete change in the way we think about things. So next. So it started on winter solstice, 21st of December 2020, and Brother Phil Lane and the Native American community had this prophecy, and they declared that this is the day that shall not be followed by night. That it's a very special day, that it shall not be followed by night. So next. So that was the Enlightening Our Way Together event that happened on that day. Next. And then Kimaya was doing her multiplication. She was learning multiplication at that time. And she said, Grandpa, 73 times 5 is 365. And I said, yeah, that's true. And I said, okay. Then we started thinking about it. 73 times 5 is 365. What if every week had 5 days as opposed to 7 days? Okay. And then every month had 6 weeks instead of 4 weeks. Now you have 30 days to every month. Okay. And then let's assign. So we decided that we're going to assign February, because February has been feeling really bad, always has less days than every other month. So we said February should get more days now. So let's give February 7 weeks instead of 6 weeks. So next. And Ben Bowler had said 2021 is the dawn of a new era. Yeah, it's the beginning of a new era. And this is year 1 of a new era. And I said, okay, so year 1 of a new era, it deserves a new calendar. So next. So we decided to name December 22nd, 2020, Indigenous Vegan Day, as the first day of Capricorn in the era of vegan world. So the month of Capricorn, the first day, year 1. It's the day that shall not be followed by night. So we decided to name all the months by the zodiac signs. Okay, next. So the 12 months are Capricorn with 30 days or 6 weeks. Aquarius has 35 days or 7 weeks because we are in the age of Aquarius, right? Pisces has 30 days or 6 weeks. Aries has 30 days or 6 weeks. All the others have 30 days or 6 weeks. So you can see the zodiac signs and 30 days or 6 weeks. And Sagittarius, which is the last one, has 30 days or 31 days, depending on whether you're in a leap year or not. And it's 6 weeks plus 1 day. Okay, so next slide. So the 5 days are the day of justice, the day of strength, the day of courage, the day of kindness, and the day of compassion. Because the current 7 days starts with Friday, which is like the fear, and then comes guilt and
Silas, you broke up there. After guilt, you said Friday fear and then guilt. All right, well, hang in there.
I get a little worried when Sailesh says he doesn't know why his internet is flaky. I think
Okay,
it's
looks like
somebody that should really know.
Anyway, it looks like he dropped off, but I'm sure he'll reconnect. So we'll just await patiently. And any comments or thoughts in the meantime, jump in.
Yeah, I was wondering what you guys think so far.
Well, if you break your weeks down or break down your year like that and everything else, it's also then very possible to break down the working hour for a person, like rather than have, just say, for example, a nurse does about 40 hours a week normal, but they end up doing a double shift or whatever. But we just say a normal 40-hour week. If you reduce that to a 20-hour week and 5 hours of community service, then 2 people could do the one job. You know what I mean? One on half the week and the other on the other half of the week.
Hi, I'm back.
Oh,
Sorry.
welcome back, Silas. Go. We heard you say Friday fear, and then you said guilt, and then we cut off. So carry on, Silas.
Yeah, Friday is fear, because we have the 13th, Friday the 13th. We keep scaring people with Friday, right? And Saturday is guilt. Sunday is shame. That's when you go to church. And then Monday is grief. That's when you start working. So Tuesday is lies, and then comes delusions. Wednesday, and Thursday is attachments. So this is like, how do you're overcoming the 7 chakras. Instead, I'm saying we need to base it on good things. So every day is a good day. It's a justice day or a strength day or a courage day. And then we take 2 days off, kindness and compassion. We take them off. So you can imagine translating from this to that. But if you start organize from this calendar to the current calendar. Okay. But if you organize according to this calendar, suddenly people will have to think differently. They have to think differently. So it's a new 5-day week. So next. So for the month of Aquarius, there'll be 7 weeks instead of 6 weeks. So it goes up to Aquarius 35. From Aquarius 1 to Aquarius 35. Okay. So every month always begins in justice and always ends in compassion. Okay. No matter what month it is. Next. But the month of Sagittarius is special because at the end of the year, we have Friday the 31st during leap year. It's the exact opposite of 13th. It's Friday the 31st. It says it's no longer fear. It's about, it's courage. You don't have to fear anymore. Next. So that's how I think the calendar for the vegan world should be set up. So that's my pinky promise. Go ahead. Next, is there another one? Yeah, that's it. So I'm proposing that as a new way of calendaring ourselves. And you can imagine, still putting events in our current calendar because people are still in the 7-day week. But it is listed in the Chrysalis calendar in the 5-day week. Okay, and it has a translation, of course. But eventually, there are certain Chrysalis events you can just do with the 5-day week. You could do once every fortnight, which will be once every 10 days. So you could do, it just makes us think differently. That's the idea.
I love it. Love it, Sailesh. And you know what? This is actually perfectly consistent with the idea of multiple Chrysalis calendars.
Mm-hmm.
Each one with kind of a different perspective on the world and translation between, right? So I love it. I think it's super cool. In fact, just like around 10 days ago, roughly, I think it was in Our Hearts Gardens led by Shannon up in Canada, we had this, she had this proposal that they were kicking around of like, I think it was 4-week months. So there was a 20-day lunar cycle, something like that.
Right.
And and then also somebody else was talking about, and maybe it was combined with that, or maybe it was separate, but just having a universal time. So we just say the time, it's 7, not Eastern, Western, whatever. So 7 could be 3 in the morning for somebody in Zanzibar, and it could be 11 o'clock at night for somebody in Iceland, and and so on and so on. But we all know when we say 7, oh, I'll see you at 7. Okay, great. Anyway, so I think there's so many rich opportunities here for shifting it up. But this is the most radical I've seen, Sailesh.
Awesome, good. I offer
really?
it to you to take and run with it. Okay, take it. And
Well, you know what? Here's the thing: we are just building the Chrysalis calendar up on Trove, which Vincent Arena and company have been building, and that's the videos that I sent out last night all have Vincent in them, and it's kind of like training for the Chrysalis calendar. So since he is coding all that up, he and others are coding it up, I see a really great opportunity to say, hey, could we, just like you can show weekly view, daily view, monthly view, and show. Now, what do you call this calendar, Sailesh? What's the name of
call
it?
it Chrysalis.
Huh?
The Chrysalis calendar.
Chrysalis. Oh, well.
This is what I was calling it, right? I was saying this is the Chrysalis calendar. This is the new.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so we could just call it Chrysalis view or something. Anyway, but the thing is, I also want people who are still in the 7-day mode to not feel kind of totally out of whack.
Well, we need to get them to feel totally out of whack. Okay, that's how you shift mindsets. You know what I mean? You need to get them to say, "Whoa, this is different." Yeah, you are in a different era. So that's the idea behind this, creating a new calendar. It just scrambles your mind and makes you think differently. And then you say, oh, I see. Okay. So now you're in a different era, right? Whereas if you're still in the old, so you could say, start programming in this, give us a Chrysalis calendar. I'm looking for someone who would make a Chrysalis calendar and give it to me so I can put it on my website. You know what I mean? And start now programming things in the Chrysalis way. Because we could do once every 10 days or once every 5 days, we can start meeting on that regular basis, and start calling months by those names, So because if we are still in the old and we're looking at 7 days a week, whatever, then we are still in the same mindset. It's about scrambling our mindset first. So anyway.
No, I love it. I'm just trying it on, and looks like Simon's trying it on as well. Simon has his hand up. Go for it, Simon.
It strikes me as more than a calendar. It strikes me as a project in terms of what Vincent's putting together. Vincent's creating this holistic space where vegans would very much find a home. So it would be somewhere where the vegans would naturally gravitate, because as you said, it's this transformative space.
Right.
How we think about if everything changes, if you looked at a caterpillar and you looked at a butterfly, nobody would ever think that there's any connection. Right. So everything that happens within that space needs to be really radical in its thinking, which is exactly what you're proposing. Right. So the challenge is how that transformation takes place within the space.
Right.
Without confusing people. Yeah. So I would propose, within the context of what Vincent is doing, is this vegan calendar is a project. Whether he could create some sort of algorithm that actually, allows people to put information on one calendar and it transfers onto the other, that would be awesome. And then people would choose the calendar that where they want to get their information from. And if the actual day of the week is more meaningful, instead of thank God it's Friday, what was Friday on your 5-day week? From justice to what was it, compassion? Yeah, it's all about changing our thinking, isn't it, radically? And encouraging, you're going to have certain trailblazers, and the idea is those trailblazers are inspirational and people want to follow them. Otherwise, they just look behind them and they're all on their own because nobody's following. Right. So that's what I would suggest. That what you're proposing is both a calendar and a project.
Go ahead, Jamin.
No, I love it. And in fact, here's the thing. I just want to talk through my own reaction. At first, I was thinking, yeah, we could try that. What? That'd be so radical. And then I thought, oh, but wait a second. There's certain things I normally do with my family on Sundays. And inevitably, one of these is going to land on a Sunday. 5 and 7 are both prime numbers. So, it's not like shifting to a 14-day week or something where we'd basically be in the same rhythm fundamentally. And then it just suddenly hit me like a ton of bricks. That's the idea. That's exactly the idea, that we shake it up and that we begin to actually have some of these uncomfortable conversations like, hey, family, I love you. And it's actually because of my love for you and for all of life on earth that I'm taking this step and organizing a meeting every, here, let me pull up I'm just going to screen share again as we talk, because I think we need to start to kind of see it. Where we go.
And the other thing is
there's a one-to-one mapping.
Yeah, exactly. There's a one-to-one map. Yeah.
There's a one-to-one mapping. So which means that you could be scheduling in the old calendar once every 7 days, and it will appear in the new calendar on different days of the week. So meaning you will say, oh yeah, on Justice Day, we're meeting today at this time. And next time we're going to be meeting on Compassion Day. whatever it is, right? It just
Yeah,
happens to be
totally.
once every 7 weeks. It keeps moving.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah,
Hello?
yeah, go ahead, Sister Ivy.
Okay. I think it's a very wonderful idea. Definitely, yes, of course, radical, which is, I mean, a good. I see some kind of issues about it because, for example, changing the months in different numbers is going to be more difficult for people to like keep track of things. You know, and I'm just talking, just having seen this thing changing, but I'm saying two things. I think it's wonderful. Two things that I see is like all of the businesses in the world go with so much planning and so much planning needed, and then having in different numbers of days in a month is, you know, it's going to make it very more difficult than if you have 31 all the time. And the other thing is, with all respect for anyone, like probably for a lot of people, the Capricorn, Sagittarius, all the sign things, a lot of people don't go with that or don't believe in it or whatever it is. I think that's going to be an issue for a lot of people too. So I'm just bringing those two things. Having said that, I think it's a wonderful idea. Love the weeks, the names, of course, and just the week is just very wonderful, and I'm all for changing the name of the days. One question that I have is, what's the reason? Maybe I missed that. What is the reason for changing for 5 days instead of 7? Can you please let me know?
Yeah, the reason for changing from 7 to 5 is to shake things up, number one, and number two, to simplify things.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think the screen got frozen. Number one reason. Can you say it again?
Yeah, the number one reason for changing from 7 to 5 is to shake things up, to think differently.
Okay.
There are 7 bad things that we open up. That's the 7 chakras. And in our culture, there are 5 good qualities. And those are the good qualities. In fact, they have to occur in that order.
Beautiful.
So justice is you have to know what is the just thing to do. Then you have to have the strength to do it. And then you have to get the courage to do it. And then you do it with kindness and compassion. So that's how you act. So those are the 5 Pandava brothers in our culture. So that's where those 5 names come from. The zodiac signs are really constellation names. The names of the constellations. In fact, that's what it means when you say Capricorn, is that, you know, the earth is pointed, night sky is pointed towards that constellation during those days. So we are saying, and this also, the fact that Aquarius has more weeks than all other months says that we are in the age of Aquarius, which also has significance, right? So we are transforming from where we are to the age of Aquarius. And so the idea of the Friday the 31st is also about reversing fear. So there are sort of symbolism for what we came up with. But this is just, this is me and Kimaya playing with it. And Kimaya was the one who started it by saying 73 times 5 is 365. That just ballooned into this project. And I presented this to the World Unity Week community in January, I think. So, and they were happy with it too. They wanted to pursue it. So there is some support already for this. So if we implement it, so we need someone to code it, okay? because currently all the calendars are coded according to the Julian calendar. So we need someone to just code these 6 weeks and 5 weeks, 6 weeks and 7 weeks version of the calendar, the new calendar, and then we can use it, and we can easily write a translator from one to the other. In fact, maybe I should start coding it in I'm taking this software class. I'm learning the Rust language. So maybe I should try it out as my project.
And another question I would like to know is like, if some group or country or whatever it is were for implementing this, is there room for making the change so that everyone is accommodated, or is this something like, no, this is what it is, take it or leave it?
No,
Which
no,
is fine, but I'm asking.
no, I'm open.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that. It's really
I mean, anything
wonderful to see that.
Yeah. But I knew that you were working on a calendar, and I wanted to present it to you, so that you can choose to use it or not.
Or like you just said, maybe talk about it and adapt some changes so that we can use it or something. That's good. That's why I asked. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I think it's a wonderful thing.
Thank you. There's a sort of simplicity to it because every month always starts in one day, on the Justice Day, and every month always ends on the Compassion Day. And every month is the same except for the age, because the Aquarius age is 35 days. So it's just breaking it up a little differently than the way the Julian calendar broke it up.
Do you have something like some idea or something about what I brought up, that this is really the whole world, business world is very big and it's gonna go for a while, I guess. At least until we know, right?
Yeah.
And so what can you say about it? Like I said, these different numbers in every month and everything, when businesses plan things, sometimes a year ahead or whatever. I just see it as an issue for that business world, or is it something that is not to be used by the business world?
No, business
I'm just
world,
trying to.
Yeah, business world can use it. It will become a 5-day week with 2 days off. So it will be 3 working days and 2 holidays. Or they can do 4 working days, 1 holiday. It doesn't matter, right? It's a different way of organizing. Businesses can do this, use this, or they can stick with what they have and have a one-to-one translation all the time between the old and the new during the transition phase. But eventually I see this, it becoming like a 5-day week with 3 days of work and 2 days off. So people are working less. You don't need to work so much.
Absolutely. I've been having that in prayer and thought for a long time. So I love that. But about the months having different.
No, currently we have 31, 30, 31, 28, 31, 30. This varying number of days in a month. In the new calendar, it will be exactly 30 for every month, except for Aquarius, which will have 35. Maybe Aquarius, everybody takes 5 days off. Who knows, right? The 7th week will be off because we celebrate the age of Aquarius. So you can still do business with the new calendar. There's no question. It's just different. And they can calculate based on 3-day week or 3 days out of 5 days work or 4 days out of 5 days work.
I see. Thank you.
Go ahead, Jamin.
Beautiful, beautiful. No, really great questions and really great answers. I'm just thinking, for example, I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area, where in San Francisco itself, we have the largest Chinatown probably outside of Asia, and a beautiful Chinatown. Well, everybody knows that in, come February, it's Chinese New Year, right? And, to do that, they didn't have to take over San Francisco militarily or blow up the Transamerica building or anything like that. It's just, hey, and it got all of us thinking. So, and it doesn't disrupt anything, right? And there is a translation. Yeah, Chinese New Year happens on this day, blah, blah, blah. And even that changes relative to the calendar that we're used to. And so it's always been a really nice way to basically, for, Chinese culture and tradition and their calendar to say, hello, we're here too. Come celebrate with us. With you here, now it's perfect. Right. And, and so everyone would go to Chinatown and celebrate and be a part of it. And so I think it's beautiful. I think it's wonderful. And especially with the whole translation capability, I can't speak for Vincent or Trove, but what a great opportunity that up in the right-hand corner. Yeah. Daily view, weekly view,
Chrysalis view.
Chrysalis view.
Yes.
Chrysalis view. Oh, what? Well, I gotta see this. That could even be a slogan. Chrysalis view. I gotta see this. Right. And you click on it, and just like everything is whoa, wait a second. What happened to Friday? What happened to Sunday? What? What's going on? Right. And no, I think it's perfect.
Yeah. And then we can celebrate Vegan New Year on December 22nd, every December 22nd will be Vegan New Year.
Now, is it always the 22nd? Because you have the leap year, so that's a constant sort of rebalancing force.
Leap year, we are going to be doing our leap year on the end of December. So I think leap year, it will probably be shifted by 1.
Okay. I think we could do this. We could do the first mapping just in Excel. So why don't we take a crack on it just in Excel, just in a
Okay, go for it.
Yeah. Okay. No, but I love it. I see nothing but positive coming out of it, right? And it's at the starting point is, it's just like on Fridays we have El Puente in English and Spanish from 5 to 7 p.m. and we say things in English and we say it in Spanish, and it just creates a bridge. That's what El Puente means, of course, a bridge between cultures, between languages. We just create a bridge. If you want to use the old way, do it, but do it knowing that you're perpetuating the old way. We're not judging it. We're just acknowledging it. Oh, you're doing it the new way. Sweet. It's just like Star Trek fans. When they say hello, they don't do this, they do this. And it's like, and for people who aren't started, they're just like, whoa, what's that? What's that? And then it kind of draws you in. Right. So it's
actually vegan too.
Oh, that's right. Vegan. I love it. Ooh, so no thumb for vegan? Thumb or no thumb? No thumb.
Right.
Okay, so Star Trek and vegan. I love it. You see, this is kind of the beginning of creating a new language, but it's a part of the new language. I think it's freaking awesome. I love it.
Yeah, I'm for starting saying hello like that. It could also be for victory.
Right.
At the same time that is for vegan, we can think about victory. Even vegan victory also.
We also do this namaste vegan.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Namaste vegan. Yeah. Anyway, I have to get going, guys. Thank you all so much.
Love it, Sailesh. Thank you so much. Wow.
That's a good one. It works also for, that's the same thing for the Christian world in prayer. And it can be also open like that, the same thing.
Yes.
Oh, wow, that's nice.
Just very briefly for you, Sailesh, can I ask one quick question?
Sure, sure.
In any of those slides, does it actually define in one sentence what you would consider the Chrysalis calendar is? Because listen carefully, I mean, one of the problems with the Julian calendar, I mean, it's got subliminal messages within it. You know, it is the 7-day week, the weekend, the working week.
Right.
So it's all part of the transformation, and we're getting away from this obsession that, you know, we work 5 or 6 days, and if we work hard enough, we earn a day off. It's crazy.
Right.
So, you know, an actual calendar that conveys that message has a power.
Yeah,
So
I'll think of a 1-sentence description of what the Chrysalis calendar would be and send it to you.
I mean, I just on the top of my head, I mean, the calendar is all about time. So it would be time inside the chrysalis.
Right.
Maybe.
This is so cool. Sailesh, I don't mean to keep you here any longer than you have to. So go when you need to go, no worries. But if we're going to reinvent the calendar, let's also reinvent language, right? So make that 1 sentence in the new language and throw down some new words in that, right? So, you know, because in normal day speak, we'll be talking, and then you just drop in these new words, blah, 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 whatever day, let's have new days. Instead of, you know, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, no, let's even come up with whole new days. Oh yeah, I'll see you on Love Day. I'll see you on Compassion Day. Oh, well, what? When's that? I haven't heard about that. You know, oh, you won't find it on the Julian calendar. You'll find it on the Chrysalis calendar. Oh, really? You know, and like, for example, I was watching this cool documentary about SpaceX, and in their control room where they're controlling the tower, you know, yes, they're speaking English, but, you know, every like 4th word is like, it was like a different word, because they had come up with a new, essentially, not a whole new language, but new words. And those new words become a bridge to the Chrysalis, to the new world. So bridge to the Chrysalis. Love it. Love it.
So the 5 days are the Justice Day, the Strength Day, the Courage Day, the Kindness Day, and the Compassion Day. So those are the 5.
And there you have it. And there you have it. And it's instead of 1 day a year for Compassion Day, it's every 5th day. Is Compassion Day. Whoa, 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 whoa. And it gets you in that news cycle. I love it, Sailesh.
Yes.
Okay,
and you know, for the other 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, while it's still on, you know, the 7th day, we can also get other things like the Thanksgiving Day. So it's not 1 day a year. I've been always fighting that one, but that is every day, and maybe another day for the Saturday or Sunday. We can do all those kinds of things. Look at all what you brought. Thank you so much.
Love you, Sailesh. Great stuff.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you soon. Thanks, Sailesh.
Have a great day. Have a blessed day.
Oh my goodness. Well, we're still recording. I'm really glad we recorded all that. This is super cool, and we keep recording. We can pause anytime. I'm just going to pause just. All right. After a brief break, we're resuming recording, and let me just share how I see it in terms of how disruptive it would be to say, hey, this is the Chrysalis calendar, whatever. First of all, it's just an alternate view. Like, it could be a teeny little icon up in the corner. It doesn't have to be disruptive at all. And you can just toggle it back to Julian versus Chrysalis or whatever. And the default could be Julian. It doesn't have to be something where, hey, you know, we're in your face and we're all screwed up and we want you to be screwed up too. So, you know, what is this, a madhouse? No, you know, no, really. I mean, I get that. I'm not saying we push it on people. I'm just saying we make it like this little weird little toggle option up in the corner, and they can click on it or not. You can live your whole life on Trove and never even click on that weird little icon, right? But if you do, you get a different view of reality, and we talk about it sometimes, but again, we don't push it. That's kind of how I'm seeing it. And Simon, since you've got some thoughts on this, I'll defer to you, and we can pause or whatever you want to do. And then Marco also has his hand up. Go ahead, Simon.
Well, very briefly, I did have some thoughts that it might be confusing, but what way you've described it is, I think, very pertinent. I mean, the whole point about it, like so much that we're about, it's choice. freedom to choose. So within that context, it's all positive.
Wait, I thought you were English. You're sounding kind of American. Just kidding. Just kidding.
I wish. No, I don't. Actually, no, I don't. It's a madhouse over there.
No kidding. No, seriously. All right. No. Very good. No, love it. Love it. All righty. If you're done, I'll pass it to Marco. Okay, Marco, go for it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm like in the right reality here or not, but aren't we, most of the world, aren't we functioning on the Gregorian calendar and not the Julian, as everybody's been saying for the last half hour?
I don't even know the difference.
No, me neither.
Yeah, we're on the Gregorian calendar,
Okay.
you know.
Well, but you raise an interesting point. We could literally, what if we had just 10 different calendars and as like a drop down, and Julian was one of those? Because here's the thing. What all these calendars have in common is they're still working on a 24-hour day, right? And so it's literally just, you take a grid of the 365 or 366 when it's leap year, take that grid and it's just a mapping. Like this literally could all be managed on one spreadsheet. Just imagine a different column for each calendar system: Julian, Gregorian, Chinese 1, Chinese 2, Indian, Mongolian, whatever, right?
Metric.
What's that, Simon?
Metric.
Metric? What, 100 days per month?
10 days a week.
10 days a week on metric. Look, we could seriously do that. Why not? I mean, really, just to mix it up and make it fun. And then, 14-year-olds could goof around in their pajamas on a Saturday morning. Instead of watching cartoons, they could just goof around with a different, hey, this is funny. I mean, we could literally have thousands. I mean, seriously, because it could all be managed on one spreadsheet. Once you create the possibility of switching, we can switch it up any way we want. But according to law number 1 of the 22 immutable laws of marketing, it's better to be first than it is to be better, right? And so Chrysalis calendar will be the first alternate calendar. What's an alternate calendar? A calendar that alters reality. We just define it, and we promote the category of alternate calendars, but in so doing, by default, we're always promoting the first. And this is a related principle in marketing, which is, it's more like a derivative of that. If you're the leader, don't promote your own brand, promote the category, right? And that's what we're doing here with Chrysalis calendars, plural, is we're promoting the category. And so once we free people up to present their own calendar with their own perspective and their own numbering system, metric, schmetric, Googolian, whatever, then people are going to go crazy and have fun with it, right? Anyway, I'm just super excited. Marco, you got your hand up. Go for it.
Yeah, I have probably just a couple incomplete thoughts, just some things to, add into everybody's, thinking process or whatever.
No. Complete thoughts only, Marco. So somebody mute him and no, go ahead. Sorry.
This idea of shaking things up is always good. The idea that we're in the chrysalis. I noticed that whenever we go to the internet for an image of chrysalis, it's almost always a monarch butterfly that comes out. But there's more than one chrysalis. And if we put a dozen, put a dozen chrysalis, in a little glass case and watch them develop, without anybody knowing which one is which, with most of us would not know which one was which, unless we're really into, that. Out of each chrysalis would emerge a slightly different butterfly or moth. So, we are a very varied people in the transformation in the chrysalis right now. So there'll be, many different things coming out of it. And as long as we all, have some level of respect for everybody's right to be them, we should be okay. And when we switched from Julian to Gregorian, United States did in I want to say, what was it, 1752, September. We went from September 2nd one day to September 14th the next day. We lost that many days, and we all survived. Although prior to that, there were, I'm not sure what years, but they kind of fought wars over this should be the calendar and that should be the calendar. So there's something to be taken into account there. But since we live in this technology and we have that ability to have algorithms and push a button and it translates this calendar to that calendar, I think right now being able to try many different calendars every, like you said, Shannon has an idea of the 28-day calendar, which doesn't work out to even months either. And, Gregorian and Julian are a few days apart. And then there's always a leap year in everything. And what Sailesh has proposed is another one. As long as we have that ability to just push a button and it's the calendar we want to use, I think that gives us the opportunity to explore all these different calendars and maybe somewhere down the road come up with, maybe the best out of it all. But if not, we still have the easy push a button and translate it to the calendar you like. So that's a pretty awesome time to be alive. And I'm complete for now.
Beautiful, Marco. Thank you so much. Well, I think we've opened up Pandora's box because James is about to bust out with the Gaelic calendar, which I hadn't even heard of. James, tell us about the Gaelic calendar.
Basically, I'm not sure what day of the week it is. No, I'm saying like the interesting thing about rather than just going mad and having a calendar for everything, which could get very confusing, let everybody to each their own. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying not to, but what I'm saying is the interesting thing about Sailesh's one is that, there was so many practicalities to it, as he was saying. But like the point I was trying to make earlier about it, he said it himself, it's down to the idea that a person doesn't have to work so much. In a sense, that was the main value, as Sailesh was saying. And it's a very interesting one as well, for a world without money kind of theory, and about the economy and everything else, looking at a different economy. Because as I said, the employer can always look at his week as he looks at his week as a 6-day week. And where the employer looks at his week as a 5-day week with 3 days of work and 2 days off. On his 2 days off, somebody else steps in and does 3 days of work. You know what I'm saying? So to double the people get at a set wage, we say a set wage for only doing a 3-day week rather than a 5-day week. There's a set wage for it, and you have 2 days off. You could have one of those days where you contribute to your community then as well. That'd be a kind of a balance there, or whatever, or half a day. But anyway, the point is, it works out as a win-win that way. For the people work less. Everyone has a kind of a set wage that way. The employer still has the 6-day weeks done. He doesn't have to pay a person. Most jobs are 5 days a week, but there's usually most businesses that want to continue working on Saturdays or even Sundays. So they pay their employees to come in the extra day on a Saturday, and they have to pay them time and a half. Well, with a set wage, there's no reason for paying somebody an extra amount of money to come in for the extra day. It's just the normal week for everybody, with less pressure for everybody, more time with their children, that kind of a way, more relaxed atmosphere. Even with schools, I think they shouldn't have. They should think about changing the curriculum as well as the amount of time they put children through school, because there's added pressure on both parents and school.
Beautiful, beautiful. Marco.
Yeah, I was reading recently that when we look at many of the indigenous tribes that are out in the rainforest still, that have limited or somewhere between little and no connection to our modern world, that they spend a kind of a general of the tribes they looked at about 2 hours a day on necessities, like men and women seem to have some specific jobs that they lean towards, but about 2 hours a day to those things, and the rest of their day was about anything they wanted it to be: playing games, having sex, dancing, using mind altering herbs. But really, the necessity was like 2 hours a day for necessities. And we are so advanced. And this idea that we work these, I'm a victim as much as anything else of, I work 80-hour weeks on the regular, that wasn't unusual for me. I worked more, sadly. But with our level of technology, all our science and everything, there's no reason the whole world couldn't be that way. It's just this need for, a few people driving the rest of us to work ridiculous hours so that the richest people in the world get richer. It's an insanity. I know I'm preaching to the choir here. It has to stop. And if we, with this idea of the chrysalis, and that we're in that and doing that line of thinking, many things are going to come. But I think we need to look for, one of the key things which we should be looking for is how much more relaxed we would be in a simpler life. We don't need, so much of what we're doing is geared towards, having to buy new constantly. This idea that only a healthy planet is one that grows exponentially with shit we don't need. And everybody doesn't need an SUV. More public transportation and more of where it's necessary in outlying areas, vehicle sharing are all things that we should be really exploring. And also, like when you can have a mechanical way of doing something that's as simple as using gravity, like the workings of a cuckoo clock to run ceiling fans for, air circulation. We can give up that electricity that we used to use for that, or we do now, to once in a while going over to the wall and, lifting the weight back up. Or like, how long did we go with the hand crank Victrola? That still works today. That technology didn't go away of a spring and wind it up. There's no reason we can't do a lot of things that way. You could do a fan that way too. Every once in a while, you crank for 20, a minute or two, and then it runs for 20 minutes. I think we need to look to simplify things in ways not to use electricity for everything. All make our lives, easier. And for now, I'm complete again.
I just thought of a really funny image that I think might have the potential to be really powerful in this regard, right? And it gets to promoting the category, right? So how, like, you look at some wall of some big office or bank or something in Manhattan or London, and there's all these different clocks on the wall with all these different times, right? What if we had a similar thing that showed a whole bunch of different calendars with like different colors and fonts and even languages, and some of them would be like with Chinese characters, and others Sanskrit, and others Arabic, and everything. And then we had some kind of image like this, where it's just like somebody just like, just like poke fun at ourselves for showing all these different calendars on the wall. But the bottom line is, have fun, shake shit up, right? And say, look, guess what? Any one of these is crazy. And in particular, our 7-day work week, make money, chop down more trees, slaughter more cattle, eat more bacon cheeseburgers, right? Dominate more women, dominate more people of color, enslave, rape, kill. Whoa, you know, the whole point is to shake shit up. Pardon my Irish. Passing the talking feather.
I didn't really think about it at the time, but am I right in saying that within Sailesh's calendar, there wasn't a weekend as such? It was just 5 days. Is that?
No, no, there is a weekend, like the last 2 days. So it's more like the work week would be 3 days. But you see, it just changes everything up, because now it's like, well, wait a second. Well, when's the work days and when's the weekend? Even that gets all shaken up. Go ahead, Simon.
So why do you need a weekend? I mean, the weekend is very much historically. I mean, like Marco was saying, that I'm sure they got no concept of the weekend in the middle of the Amazon rainforest.
Yeah, exactly. And that brings up a good question. Why even have a cyclical week to begin with? Right? I'm sure somebody will come up with a calendar where there's 365, or on leap year, once every 4 years, 366, just different days, period. Right? Each day could be like a different insect, or a different insect. You know, I mean, oh, good. Hey, it's Monarch Day. Well, no, it's Purple Butterfly Day. Well, it's you know, it's Gay Butterfly Day. Whatever, right? You know, I mean, the whole point is to have fun with it. I don't even know what the point is anymore. I just know the airplane is going down, and we need to do something. And the Chrysalis calendar seems like a great place to start. And having fun with it seems like a great way to start. I mean, just imagine there was literally like 72 different calendars. You got a whole drop down. It'd be fun just playing. Oh, when's my birthday? Oh, hey, guess what? My birthday is, you know, multisexual monkey day. You know, what, you know, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Well, in answer to the question, why have a weekend, then, like as Jamin said a while ago, a lot of people, their weekends are spent with their family. A Sunday day is a family day, and that, like, so those with families would start their 3-day working week on a Monday as normal. Those that don't have families would volunteer to do their work week on the weekend day, like take the extra Saturday or whatever. You know what I'm saying? There could be levels out that.
James, I was following on from what you're saying. I mean, not only do we need to get rid of the concept of the weekend in terms of being relaxing from work, we need to move beyond the concept of work. I mean, everything should be, I mean, I'm a big believer in what you might describe as the gift economy. Get rid of the concept of working. Yeah. So, I mean, most people would associate work with earning a living, earning money, you know, earning the right to exist on this planet.
Yeah, going back to the example of the tribes, 2 hours a day towards necessities, every day is family day then. Every day, there's no need for a weekend for sure. That every day is, this has to be done, and it gets done in such a short amount of time because we don't have so many. We're not trying to make somebody else a bigger pile of wealth. We're doing only what we need for ourselves and each other in our communities. There is no need for a weekend because every day is family day.
Sure. I mean, the tragedy is for a lot of people. I mean, they work so hard, like you knew all about Monday to Friday. Is weekends just crashing and trying to get some decent sleep and catching up on the household chores. There's no, even on the weekend, there's no time for family. And then you start all over for a lot of people.
I'll point out that when you work 70 and 80-hour weeks, you're not doing that in 4 or 5 days. That's 7 days a week, you know, and too many of us have done that thinking it was a good thing, you know, it made you a good person, a diligent person, and a person to be admired, but it certainly was not the way to go. I'm so much more thinking of have less things to maintain and more time to, you know, be with other people and you know, enjoying each other and maybe, you know, sitting around and, you know, like here and talking about, hey, this would be good or that would be good and improving things. But no part of it is about making someone else better than the rest of society, richer than the rest of society. It's just such an antiquated concept now. Every day I wake up more and more thinking how wrong this is and how it is that the majority of us are suffering because of it, and we don't change it. It's just ludicrous. Right, I'm done ranting for now.
Have you heard the joke about the Spanish fisherman?
No.
Oh, I don't want to stereotype, but there's a Spanish fisherman in a fishing village taking a siesta in the middle of the day, and this American on holiday kicks him and says, "What are you doing sleeping in the middle of the day?" And he says, "Well, I'm taking a siesta." And the American says, "Well, don't you go to work?" He said, "I've been to work. I've been fishing this morning. Had my catch this morning." And the American says, "Well, you could go back out and catch another lot of fish, and you could come back and you could get a second boat, and then you could buy a cannery and you could control the whole thing from start to finish. You could have a fleet of boats." And the fisherman said, "Well, then what I would do? Well, then you could take a siesta in the afternoon."
And he's like, "I'm already doing that, Jack." No, it's really good. You forgot to mention the American saying you could kill all of ocean life and turn the ocean into one big parking lot for pleasure yachts. Anyway, no, it's brilliant. I like it. And I am Hispanic, so no offense taken.
No, but historically the Mediterranean, I mean, they were, known for a good quality of life, good diet, historically, relaxed.
Well, the thing is, see, I went to live in Spain. I'm really glad you brought that up, because I went to live in Spain in 1982 for a full, year. And because I have Spanish relatives, I'm part Spanish. And so I go there, and the first thing I learn is that at the middle of the day, we all go home, we have lunch, and we chill out. And we take a siesta. And then we go back to work or school or whatever. And at the end of school in the afternoon, at 5 in the afternoon or whatever, we all go play soccer. And so it's just like, as this 14-year-old American kid, it just turned my world upside down, right? And then I went to rural Mexico at age 16 in the summer of 1984. And I had my world even more turned upside down. But thankfully, I had already gotten the habit of going upside down, of my world getting shaken up. And that's kind of the whole point of this, because, see, Guy McPherson says that we were all born into captivity, right? What's one of the things that really characterizes prison life? The bell goes off at 6:30 in the morning or whenever the hell it goes out. Time for breakfast, and we all have to have our striped suits, and we button up, and time to eat. Time to take a dump. Time to go get beaten up in the baseball yard. And here we are in lockstep. Like a bunch of trained monkeys. In this 7 day. You work Monday. You work, boy, and you work Monday through Friday. You go get drunk on Friday night and Saturday night, and Sunday you wake up with a hangover, and Monday you're back to the grind again. They've got us trained. With the Chrysalis calendar, we break out. We can do so much funny stuff with this, so much fun stuff, so much funny stuff. Imagine a whole bunch of monkeys like banging their silverware on the table and, so let us free. The calendar language is one way to constrain. Calendar, schedule, so many things. Religion, okay. Once a week we all go in and are made to feel guilty. Shame, 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 shame. What a perfect way to then get us all psyched up to go back to work the next day. Because
Yeah. Are we recording?
Yes, we are. Yeah, and we can pause anytime. I'm going to pause right now. Pardon, I'm going to pause. Yeah, after a brief pause, I just love this conversation because it's like we're becoming aware. It's one more mechanism for becoming aware of just how entrapped and enslaved we are in the current game, the all-day Monopoly game. They've got us on the clock. We're a bunch of trained monkeys, and I can say that because I am Year of the Monkey. And that's yet another thing that kind of turned my world upside down, because all, my first few years of my life, I was like, oh, you're a Taurus, you're a Taurus, you're a Taurus, you're a bull, right? And then, I forget exactly when, but it came to my attention that I'm also a monkey, right? And now I didn't stop being a Taurus when I learned that I was also a monkey, right? In the same way that you don't have to stop using the Julian or Gregorian or whatever, prison calendar we're locked into, but it gives us a new perspective. And I can see that Simon is already very enlightened by what I'm saying. You can see the light on his face. It's a beautiful thing. Passing the feather. Thanks. And I think that having fun with it is really key. And that's what we're doing right here. We're having fun with it, right? And let's bust out with a gazillion calendars. Why not? Let's have fun with it, right? Here, I'm going to give an example. Now, you can take that law of marketing, that it's better to be first than it is to be better, and say, well, the Julian or Gregorian calendar was first, and therefore, okay, fine, it'll always be first. But look at what happened with cryptocurrencies, okay? First, there was Bitcoin, and there was only Bitcoin. That was it. It was the cryptocurrency, and that was it, and there was nothing else, right? And it grew and grew and grew. And then along came Ethereum. Ethereum was the first alt or alternative cryptocurrency, okay? And then a bunch of other folks said, well, wait a second, if Ethereum can do it, so can we. And now there are literally, at last count, this website, CoinMarketCap, has literally 9,879 different cryptocurrencies that they track. And if they're tracking 10,000 of them, you better believe there's a lot more. There are tens of thousands of cryptocurrencies. And in terms of market share, this is fascinating. In terms of, market share, in terms of market cap of each of these, Bitcoin at present has 40% market cap. Ethereum has 19. And in the laws of marketing, if you read the book that goes way back to the 90s, and it predates cryptocurrencies, they've been studying this for decades. The equilibrium state is that the number one brand has twice the market share of the number two, and that in turn has twice the number three, and so it kind of goes like that. It halves as you go down the ladder. Roughly, it's a rule of thumb, right? And it plays out in so many different markets. That's good news for us, because basically we can present the Chrysalis calendar as the first alt calendar. And then by promoting the category of alt calendars and having just dozens, hundreds, and play with it, right? The Chrysalis calendar can essentially become the Ethereum of the category. The king of the alts, right? Look, Bitcoin is still Bitcoin. They still lead, but they're down to less than 50% market share, right? That's really significant. I mean, they used to be 100% and then 90%. And I can still remember when they were like 80%. right? And it was like, oh, the others are whatever. Well, now they're down to 40%. And Ethereum skyrocketed up to a whopping 20%. Who would have thunk, right? And there you have it, right? It's the era of the alts. So anyway, I think this is so fun, and I really think it turns everything on its head. I think we also need to I'd like to take a break because at the top of the hour, a bunch of us, if not most of us, if not all of us, are going to head over to another meeting. So I'm going to pause just for a moment so we can coordinate. All right, Simon just said something beautiful. Go for it, Simon.
It's just a quote by Bill Hicks, who was a philosopher, really, a comedian by trade, but a philosopher, a bit like George Carlin. And he apparently said, "You're the only people alive on the earth today. All the people who created traditions, created countries, created rules, they're all dead. Why don't you start your own world whilst you got the chance?"
Beautiful. Thank you.
Wow. Awesome.
Now let's do it.
I think that's a perfect place to end this recording and shift gears. So I'm going to stop recording now. But before pausing, let me thank everyone. Thank you all. This has been super, super, super cool. I love it. Look at how we're coming around. So look forward to continuing. And wow. Viva la Chrysalis calendar and everything we were talking about. Right.
And thanks to you, Jamin.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All righty. Let's take a break and we'll see you next time.